Yes, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. It's Den Mother Amanda. Glad to see you all here. I know got some topics that are, I guess, on face value can usually are controversial. It would be nice to see them not so controversial, um, and where people would just come together with. Mutual care and compassion and tolerance and listen to each side, make their presentations with honesty and love. And some of these topics I'm very passionate about, and sometimes I can't tend to share on these topics with I guess a certain sense of conviction from me, because I believe in them so strongly. And it does not mean that I won't be able to have my mind changed, if people are willing to have a conversation, a heartfelt conversation. Um, and some of those topics I'm going to be covering today are racism, all forms, and what I believe about it. Transition, how I feel about it, and things that I found out through my transitional journey myself through medical transition, and other topics on medical transition, and also the medical transitioning of children. With the last two, the transition and medical transition for children, I totally agree with just as much mental health therapy as possible. Really, I sincerely really do, because it's definitely something that's difficult to go through, especially if you're really young. With going through gender questioning issues, I had those gender questioning questions and stuff when I was a child. The one thing as a child, when I was a child growing up in the 70s and 80s, it probably wasn't a good idea to mention that I had issues with that. And because of all the actual real hate that was there, not to say that there isn't now. Okay. And there still is, and it's gotten a whole lot better over the last 40 to 50 years. A lot better. And it's almost night and day. Is there progress still left to be done? Yes. Um, and it's how do we deal with that and deal with that in a way that best serves the transgender and transsexual community as well as possible, and others, and also we can people can have some understanding about what it's like to be transgender, transsexual, and or gender questioning, and especially as a child. Um, so anyway, let's start with the racism thing. It's just it is so horrible. In the last 54 years, I've seen it become better. Then all of a sudden, in the last 5 to 7 years, it's gotten drastically worse. And it seems like nobody cares to want to come in the middle and talk about it with care and compassion. People want to be angry, and it's just what I'm seeing. Some things that I've seen, it just doesn't make any sense. As to how we deal with it, and And I get it. We all get angry, each and every one of us, and I do too. When racism of any kind happens, any kind, it's just uncivilized. It's barbaric. It's dehumanizing. No matter who's on the receiving end of it, no matter what your nationality of origin is, or the color of your skin. It's just disgusting. It really is. And I would hope a lot of people do agree with that. And I know there's some really not coming in here. I would hope that are all for that. But it's just it's to a point where it's when do people grow up? And people when it happens, taking it too far, farther than necessary. And I get it. I get it. People get angry when it happens. Looting, riots, burning of buildings, destroying people's livelihoods over it. I absolutely do not like hate speech at all whatsoever. None. Not even a little bit. The one advantage I do take away from that is that when I know people hate a particular race for any reason, I want to know who they are so I can help fight against it because it is barbaric and uncivilized. And there's no room for it. No room for that kind of hate whatsoever. There's really not. And I was just thinking too. There's been a lot of racism against white males, and that's wrong. It's just wrong. Okay, because there's good and bad in every race and nationality, and we're judging a particular people on either their skin tone or whatever, or their male, or even if they're female. It is wrong. Okay? There's good and bad through everything, and in every section of life. Okay, and when we judge a whole particular people on a few is wrong. Totally and completely wrong. Nobody deserves it. There's other things that I can go into on it, but that's not doing that today. If anybody watching it, we can definitely talk about it on another live stream. That's for sure. And it's definitely a heated topic. Oh my god, no, I don't like it at all. Another thing that's I see not a lot of people are talking about is identity politics as being actually racist. And it is. Okay, it really is. Because for identity politics to work, somebody has to be wronged. Actual or not, someone has to be wronged, and someone has to be on a lower level than someone else. And that's wrong. Are there minorities where there's groups of people that aren't as many as others? Yes. But that doesn't mean that they get treated horribly or be put in a category as to where they are getting treated wrong when about 90% of the time the things that are being said and said happening consistently daily, all day, every day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year is happening. I'm sure there's a small portion of it that is happening on that time frame. Okay. But when we as good people feed into that narrative of identity politics, all we're saying is that no matter where I'm at on that identity politics sheet or whatever they go by, we're all at one level or another, lower down or higher up. And when all it needs to have be known about identities is, okay, I'm a trans woman, biological male, women, men, African American people, Hispanic Latino people, and and it should be a numbers only thing, not an identity politics thing, because identity politics requires someone to be treated like crap and stepped on and disregarded as people that deserve care and compassion, understanding and tolerance. Every person is an individual, no matter where they fall, deserves that. They really do. We all do. And it just breaks my heart to see even good people bashing other good people. Like I said before, are there bad people in every section? Yeah, there are too. There's that too, yes. But when an entire section is getting bashed for the few is wrong. How do we come together to solve the issues, not make it worse? And all I see is people making it worse, not better. And that's heartbreaking. It really is heartbreaking. I know some of you may or may not agree with me, but it's heartbreaking. It really is. Um, but yeah, questions, comments, you can definitely leave them in the in the comments section below if you're coming in after this is ended. Um, uh, Transition. Okay, I'm gonna start off with adult transition, and why biology matters. It matters for healthcare. Okay, it matters for healthcare and it matters for honesty. You know, I am not gonna say I am a woman. If people choose to identify me as a woman, okay, that's fine. That's okay. Just know that I'm not a biological woman. I'm still a biological male. That will never change. I wish it could. I really do. The way I'm living my life in medically transition, I can't afford. I cannot afford to think that I'm changing biology when it's just not true. Okay. Now, healthcare problems that can still happen, even if I'm transitioning. Okay, I can still get prostate cancer because I will always have a prostate. That's not going to change. And so it's just not. Unless uterine transplants happen for transgender women. Transgender women do not have a uterus. They do not get menstrual periods. They do not get menstrual cramps. if you're cramping in what would be considered anywhere near that area, it's probably a good idea to get some laxative so you can go use the restroom. That's probably what's happening is getting constipated. And sometimes you're just cramping does happen. You never know. Somebody's got their appendix. That's going to cause a lot of long-term pain. Get checked medically because ruptured appendix can and does kill without medical attention. It does. No medical attention for that, you will die. I darn near did. My surgeon told me the next morning I should have been dead 2 to 3 days before I got to the hospital and had surgery because peritonitis and gangrene was so bad. And that's another reason why original in biology, birth biology matters, because it's not going anywhere. All I can do is change what my through medicine what my body is being told to do. Doesn't change my birth sex at all. And it doesn't mean I automatically become a biological woman. No, it's no. Do I like to be identified as a woman? Yes, for sure. And I'm definitely respectful of anybody who also is. And on the same token, it's very hard for me to believe that somebody's transgender and or even transsexual if you're not going through any medical process. Because by definition, that is what it means being trans, or trans is short for transitioning. Okay. Trans, okay, be trans to what you're living as say it's non-binary. Okay, I can be on board with that. Not transgender. Trans, yes. Transgender, not really. And if I'm going to make someone is going to make their secondary sex characteristics look different than what they were born with, that's transgender / transsexual. Transgender was originally meant and put out there to replace transsexual for those of us who are medically transitioning to appear from one to the other. And it'd be nice to what it would be like I was talking about a minute or two ago is, it would be nice to see the uterine transplants being offered to transgender, transsexual women who would like to be able to give birth so they can do that. It's my understanding they're doing a lot of research in that, and uterine transplants from biological woman to biological woman has already successfully happened. And I don't know how far it's gotten for the transgender community, transgender / transsexual community. Also, I don't know how it would work after it's happened. They've already done the word transplants for penile and scrotal transplants. I know have already happened and a lot of it was done for people who've had that genital mutilation from the service or whatever accidents that they've had, for biological males. And I guess they're researching into doing that for trans men as well, which is awesome. It's great. And it's great that it's coming along. And like I said, what stages they're in, I'm really not sure right at this point. It's definitely something I'm interested in looking into. I don't know how soon, but I'm interested in looking into it. There's a lot of good advances coming down the road. I think we would all like to see them here quicker. And I also think because science continues to grow and evolve, that even maybe one day, maybe I don't know. Right now, it's not possible that be able to actually change the sex of someone after they're born. Maybe I don't know, but it would be nice to eventually see them working on that. Whether they are now or not, I don't know. But biology matters. It really does. And trans men, what they can still suffer from is vaginal atrophy. And vaginal atrophy can kill someone because of the infections that it causes and all the pain that it causes, and a host of other things that men or women at transition are at higher risk from can still suffer from after the transition. And also, like I said, in my transition, there's still things that I have to be aware of. It's not going to change. After a medical transition, he's already said prostate cancer, saying, and a heart disease, higher elevated heart disease, hypertension and high blood pressure. I'm still at elevated risk for that. And maybe some of it is due to the hormone changes and using the different hormones. But I believe that's a problem that trans men and trans women will end up having problems. Also, could have problems with. I won't ever be able to have cervical cancer. That I won't get because I'm not using the colon for the neovagina. If that would be the case, I would have to be checked for colon cancer in the neovagina as well as the rectum. I'm at a higher risk. There is something, and one thing I know for sure, I'm a higher risk for because I'm transitioning is breast cancer. Would I be able to get hot flashes? Maybe. I don't know. It seems like I may have felt something similar to that not too long ago. But for sure, is it hot flashes? I can't say for sure one way or the other. Could that part of it be possible? I think so. But yeah, that's why biology matters. The healthcare risks that we still have, all of us, no matter whether we're trans women or trans men, that we still have to watch out for during and after medical transition. And that's huge. That's why I'm so big on. That's one of the reasons why I'm big on biology. Your born biology matters because we keep it. Like I said, until science can actually get to the point, I don't know if it ever will. Well, maybe it will. I don't know. I won't live that long. I won't live that long. I will say that hopefully it can happen. That the sex can be changed after birth. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, that was my son walking by in the background. But yeah, it's just there's legitimate reasons why biology still matters, and it comes from being caring and compassion, and it comes from being and actually being honest to other people when it matters. We don't have to tell everybody. We don't. We don't have to tell everybody because not everybody needs to know. Okay, and I'm good with that. And I don't even need to know. And whether somebody was born biological female or biological male, I don't even need to know that unless maybe we're in a relationship. And friends, we usually are with friends that are anywhere near close. We usually talk about things like that. Any friends, and just because I want to be friends, and I want to, so we can continue whatever break up friendship. I mean, it could, with the way things are going anymore nowadays, it could. Um, doesn't make it right, but I guess it could. Yeah. Like healthcare, any healthcare issue. And example, couple weeks ago, for a few months, where for the last 8 9 months, I had moved 8 9 months ago, and I was talking to some neighbors down the street, and the one guy likes me, and was wondering if we had a chance. We really haven't talked a lot lately, but it says that there's if there's going to be any chance in that, there's something you need to know about me. And that was that I wasn't born this way. And I'm like, oh wow, but he still likes me. A few days later, he's asking, well, what do you think? Um, and he's a nice guy. He really is. Whether something happens or not, I don't know. I can't say for sure. Although he is a really nice, he's a gentleman. He's very, very, very respectful, and that's all I care about is are people respectful and caring as much as they can be, and putting out as much grace as we all can from one another, and being respectful, dignified, and treating other people with dignity, respect, and grace. And yeah, and, uh, yeah. Oh God. Oh, gosh. Yeah. So I don't know if there's questions and comments and concerns anyone would like to talk over, please put them in the chat, and I'll figure out on when we can do a live feed about that. Let people know that, hey, gonna do a Q&A live feed, so to speak. Bring up concerns and answer them as best I can. I don't know everything, though I will say that I don't know everything. I'm not a doctor. All I really have is my experience. Um, I have been an EMT. That's about all I know of the medical thing, and that was almost 3 decades going on 3 decades ago. So it's just most of it's probably not relevant. Just being honest about it. And always, if I give any, if I comment on stuff like that, medical stuff that I've gone through or something else, like I have, double and triple check it. Don't go ask more than one person in the medical field, and from a few. It'd be nice to get about ask questions from three different medical fields. Um, I say, especially when it comes to dealing with the hormones and blockers, ask an endocrinologist. That's their specialty. They specialize in that. And if you get two that are virtually the same, they're probably going to be right. And I would definitely go to someone who does do hormone replacements for as a doctor, and two that don't. Because they all know what hormone replacement, and hormone blockers do. Next question is: are they going to be actually be honest about it or close to honest? And still people, and I think even believe most of the gender doctor, transitional doctors are as honest as they really can be, and I believe they've really put out a good effort to be as honest as they possibly can. And like with anything, it's called medical practice, and they're still practicing, even though they have an education. They've got a basic fundamental at whatever level they are practicing in, whether um, EMT, paramedic, nurse, any kind of nursing and or doctors. It's just practicing. It's like any other science, question and question again. You know, find out what can be better. Um, and I guess that's going to lead into gender questioning children. Um, do I have a compassion for gender questioning children? Absolutely, for sure. Um, and I've looked into this probably more than a lot of other stuff in the last 3 4 years. Took a dive into it, not maybe an extreme dive into it, but a dive into it, and there's things that I found, you know, mental health therapy. Yeah, I'm big on really, 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 really extremely huge on mental health therapy. And if you're struggling with getting a child mental health therapy, look to see what's out there where you can get help. Um, or maybe it's something we can talk about on another feed. Just put questions in here. I'll do what I can to maybe try to help for that. And I'll get a gender therapist and one that is not a gender therapist. Um, and I say that because, there's a caring, compassionate way to put to children and to see if it really is right for them. I'm not talking about conversion therapy. Conversion therapy is talking someone out of it. I do not agree with that. But finding out if it's really right for the person, no matter what their age is. No matter what their age is. Um, Antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications are wonderful if needed. They're really wonderful. Okay. And I definitely want to work on the mental health of a child, and let them explore through dressing in different clothes, playing with different toys, doing different things, and exploring their gender. Maybe because I've seen statistics of this that where 80 to 95% of trans kids. Hey, Angelina, how are you? Glad you're here. I talked about a lot of stuff before this too. So just you're catching up onto my third topic here. And I've been talking a lot later about some of my stuff instead of just going full blown bang, all up in somebody's grill, so to speak. So if you get a chance, start off from the beginning when you get a chance, if you can, if you would like. But yeah, for kids, definitely mental health therapy is huge, very huge, because just children are our future. They really are. And I've looked into a lot of different things and seen a lot of different things happen when it comes to medically transitioning children. Um, and I've seen that puberty. Oh boy, yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Thank you, honey. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, and not everybody does see eye to eye on that. And I'm glad you see eye to eye on most of it, probably not all of it, I'm sure. And you're a good friend. You really are. You're a good friend. Thank you. Even if you didn't agree on any of it, even if we didn't agree on any of it, you're still a good friend. Um, I wanted to let that out too. Um, the puberty blockers, there's a few things that they've been used. I know we talked about this a couple of days ago, Angelina. I know we talked about this in private, doing something when we were taking a trip. That was a long day. It was a nice day, but it was a long day. Yeah, the hormone blockers. It's not a pause. It's a stop on puberty, but it just stops it. And, uh, um, and I see the results in that from children who have or have not detransitioned. Um, and the results are that they'll never be able to have any biological reproduction of their own at all. None. And every transitioned person is an adult, who's wanting to detransition, whether they've had the genital surgery or not, cannot have children. I think there's one or two that I know of that started late on it, that it's a possibility. But if they started as a young child, early on in puberty, it is completely stopped. And intimate contact as an adult, they have no. Trying to think of a word or words I want to use. I'll just say what it is and what they've said. They have not had any sexual gratification. Zero sexual gratification. Starting out as a preteen or just getting into their teen years when puberty starts. And also as a Jazz Jennings, most everybody knows Jazz Jennings. If you've watched her story with all the problems she's had, starting on hormone blockers, then cross-sex hormones, and started with, well, a lot of us started using those cross-sex hormones at a very, very, very young age. I think it was around 13, maybe a year or two younger, maybe a year or two after. Um, and And then for male to female, she wasn't, because she was denied going through puberty. And she wasn't able to get the genital growth that she needed for vaginoplasty surgery. And she went through, I believe, at least